Hi there. This video lecture is going to go over the content of this course. The course is going to focus on climate change. Specifically, we want to focus on climate change as it affects you and your community. Now, climate change is a massive topic. If I just Google search it, you can see we're all over the place. United Nations, NASA, um, World Bank climate. I mean, there's just news articles. It just goes on and on and on and on. Okay. Climate change in general is just too big. We can't solve climate change in the world, each of us, unless you come up with an invention that somehow manages to solve climate change. Instead, you can focus on climate change in your community and think about projects that might help you and help your community mitigate the effects of climate change. Okay? Some of those projects might be really small, some of them might be a little bit bigger. But if you focus on your community, you're actually going to make a change. Okay? So let's look at how that might work with the course learning outcomes of the class. So the readings we will do in this class directly are affected by the readings of climate change. Okay? We'll also apply specific discipline rhetoric, rhetorical strategies, and existing compositional strategies to produce a range of texts. You're going to be doing some research on climate change in your community, and also you'll be applying conventions, APA style and MLA style. You'll also be doing critical inquiry, analyze how priorities of culture, values, and norms influence certain disciplines, the arts, humanities, and social sciences. Okay? So, thinking of that, we kind of want to move more towards how climate change can affect your community. So, for example, I might just do climate change Rochester. Okay? And you can see the city of Rochester has a climate change resilience plan, which is great. Probably going to be very specific. Okay? So, if I click on that, for example, you'll notice that Rochester, over the next 50 years, will have warmer winters, hotter summers, more rainy days, impacts, climate change impacts from extreme storms, okay, climate outreach, and some questions that you might want to have answered. So, what do we mean by climate change? Well, climate change is simply the changing of the climate, but recently it's happening at an accelerated rate as a result of human activity, the burning of fossil fuels by large corporations being the number one contributor. So, how can we think about this massive topic for our communities? Well, you live in your community, you probably see the effects of climate change somewhere, somehow. Maybe that's invasive species. Maybe it's ash borer trees or ash trees being infected by the ash borer, the emerald ash borer. Maybe it's just like your beaches are showing erosion. Okay. It could be warmer lakes, more algae in the lakes. Okay. So think of it like that. Think of how you experience climate change on your terms. Okay. Because this course is about using your personal experience to shape your own work. Okay. So in the humanities, how do the humanities address climate change? Well, there's art that addresses climate change, philosophy, and poetry. All right. So you can think of philosophy and climate change. Okay. There's a lot of stuff already happening. Okay. Climate justice. There's a lot of articles. Okay. The same thing with the social sciences, the psychological effects, the demographics, sociological and political effects of climate change. How is your community dealing with that? Okay. Does climate change present possibilities for rethinking our relationship to the environment? Does it just have to be negative? Of course, it has negative connotations, but now is the time that we can maybe make some real changes. Okay. So, how can you affect the climate crisis in your community or climate change in your community as a way to affect change? That's going to be the focus of this course. If you have questions, let me know. Take care.